These are the 7 levels of NFL kickers. We'll start with the worst ones that seem to miss every time they got their chance, all the way to the greatest kickers of all time, starting with level 1.
Level 1. Historically bad.
These players couldn't even kick during practice. Fans would assume they would miss before they even kicked the ball, starting with Jake Moody. Jake Moody was supposed to be different. The 49ers made him the highest drafted kicker since Roberto Aguayo, who we'll be talking about next, taking him in the 3rd round of the 2023 draft. Jim Harbaugh called him Money Moody and a Michigan legend who could handle any pressure situation. But the NFL humbled him quickly. After a respectable rookie season going 21-25, everything fell apart. He struggled badly in the back half of 2024, which the 49ers blamed on rushing him back from a severe ankle injury. His mechanics became inconsistent, he'd over-rotate his hips and pull kicks to the left. The breaking point came in Seattle when he clanged the 27-yard chip shot off the right upright in a tight game. Coach Kyle Shanahan saw it affecting him mentally and cut him immediately. The Bears picked him up, but the damage was done. Another highly drafted kicker, bust. Speaking of Roberto earlier, we'll get to him right now. Roberto Aguayo represents the ultimate cautionary tale of drafting kickers high. The Bucs traded up in the 2016 draft, giving up a 3rd and a 4th round pick to select him with the 59th overall pick. The first kicker drafted in the 2nd round in over a decade. The expectations were sky high. Aguayo had been named Mr. Perfect and dominated at Florida State, but the NFL was a different beast entirely. In his lone season with Tampa Bay, he went just 22 of 31 on field goals, a brutal 71% that ranked dead last in the league at the time. The pressure was suffocating. Tampa Bay cut him before his 2nd season. He bounced around briefly to other teams but never played another regular season game. The most hyped kicking prospect in years was done at 23. Lastly, we have another early 20-year-old who was forced out of the league. Bob Timberlake might be the worst kicker to ever suit up in the NFL. In his one and only NFL season, Timberlake went an abysmal 1 for 15 on field goal attempts, a 6.7% success rate that defies belief. His longest successful kick was just 43 yards, and that was the only one he's made. The next season, the Giants signed Hungarian soccer-style kicker Pete Gogolak. They were so desperate to move on from Timberlake's disaster. The worst kicking performance in NFL history. These players were historically awful, and the level above is better, but only by a little bit.
Level 2. Still bad.
The players here are still hated by their teams because of how bad they were. Still slightly just better than the last crew, but we're going to start with Blair Walsh. Blair Walsh had everything going for him early on. He was a Pro Bowler and All-Pro kicker as a rookie in 2012, nailing 35 of 38 field goals at 92%. But then came January 10th, 2016. With 26 seconds left in a playoff game against Seattle, Walsh lined up for what should have been a routine 27-yard field goal to win it. But he shanked it left. Badly. The Vikings lost 10-9, ending their first playoff appearance in years. That miss haunted him forever. His accuracy plummeted. He went from 82% in 2015 to 75% in 2016. The Vikings cut him mid-next season after missing 4 extra points in 9 games. He lasted just 1 more year in Seattle before disappearing from the NFL entirely. Vikings fans still can't forgive him for that moment. And speaking of fans still not forgiving, we have Scott Norwood. Scott Norwood was actually a pretty solid kicker for most of his career. He made the Pro Bowl in 1988, led the NFL in scoring that year with 129 points, and became the Buffalo Bills' all-time leading scorer, surpassing O.J. Simpson's franchise record. But none of that matters because of one kick. In the Super Bowl, January 27, 1999, Bills trailing the Giants 20-19 with 8 seconds left. Norwood lines up for a 47-yard field goal to win Buffalo's first championship. The kick had the distance, but sailed wide right as time expired. Wide right became synonymous with heartbreak in Buffalo. The Bills released him after that season, and he never played in the NFL again. Norwood was gracious in defeat, spending 30 minutes with the media afterwards, but Bills fans will never forget that moment that cost them their first Super Bowl. Speaking of Super Bowl rings, we actually have someone who has 2, but is still hated by a fan base, and Lynn Elliott. Lynn Elliott played 4 seasons and won 2 Super Bowl rings with Dallas, but none of that matters to Kansas City Chiefs fans because of one horrific playoff performance. January 7th, 1996, AFC Divisional Round against Indianapolis. The Chiefs were heavily favored at home, but Elliott had the worst kicking performance in playoff history. He missed 3 field goals from 35, 42, and 43 yards in a crushing 10-7 loss that ended Kansas City's season early. Elliott never played another NFL game after that disaster. Chiefs fans still reference the Lynn Elliott game as one of the most painful losses in franchise history. More recently, we have Joshua Carty. Joshua Carty looked promising as a rookie in 2024, going 29 of 34 on field goals for an 85% success rate. but his second season has been a complete disaster for the Rams. Cardi leads the NFL with 8 missed field goals or extra points through just 8 games in 2025. His accuracy plummeted to 66% on field goals, missing crucial kicks that directly cost the Rams games. Against Philadelphia, he had 2 field goals blocked in the fourth quarter, including a potential game winner from 44 yards that was returned for a touchdown by Jordan Davis. Coach Sean McVay finally made the change, benching Cardi. At just 23 years old, Cardi's confidence appears completely shattered. And someone else whose confidence is shattered is Matt Gay. Matt Gay's career has been a tale of 2 halves. He started strong, winning a Super Bowl with the Rams and making the Pro Bowl in 2021. But everything fell apart when he finally signed that massive contract with Indianapolis. The Colts gave Gay a 4-year, $22.5 million deal in 2023, the most lucrative contract ever given to a free agent kicker at the time. What they got was a disaster. Over 2 seasons in Indianapolis, Gay converted just 82% of his field goals, including a shocking 50% success rate on kicks from 50 yards and beyond. The Colts finally cut him in April of 2024, eating millions in dead money. Washington picked him up, but the struggles continued. Through 8 games in 2025, he's hitting just 71% of his field goal kicks. The pressure and expectations seemingly have broken him. These guys were slightly better than level 1, however, they were still bad. Level 3, they were actually good.
Level 3, good.
Now we're getting to some pretty solid kickers, starting with Cam Little. Cam Little made NFL history on November 2nd, 2025, drilling a 68-yard field goal that broke Justin Tucker's record by 2 yards. Playing indoors at Allegiant Stadium against the Raiders, Little's kick easily cleared the crossbar and bounced off the wall beyond the end zone. The second-year Arkansas product has shown this range before, nailing a 70-yarder in preseason against Pittsburgh. Little's been solid overall for Jacksonville, going 40 of 46 on field goals in his career with an 87% success rate. At just 22 years old, he's already etched his name in NFL history. Someone else who isn't really etched in NFL history, but in their fans' hearts, is Matt Bryant. Matt Bryant was a definition of reliability during his 18-year NFL career. Money Matt finished with 397 made field goals on 464 attempts for an impressive 85% success rate. Bryant's peak came during his 11 seasons with the Atlanta Falcons, where he became a fan favorite and team legend. He made the Pro Bowl in 2016 at age 41, connecting on 34 of 37 field goals and leading the league in 56 of 57 extra points. That season helped carry the Falcons to the Super Bowl, which they would ultimately lose. He was recently named the Falcons 2025 Salute to Service Award nominee for his extensive military community work. Atlanta fans still remember him fondly as one of the most automatic kickers they've ever had. And the same goes with Daniel Carlson. He's been one of the most consistent performers for the Las Vegas Raiders since joining the team in 2018. After a disastrous start in Minnesota where he went just 1 of 4 on field goals and got cut 2 games after, Carlson found a home in Las Vegas. Since 2018, only Justin Tucker has made more field goals than Daniel. He's been named first-team All-Pro in 2022 and second-team All-Pro in 2021, leading the NFL in scoring in both seasons. Carlson holds Raiders franchise records for most points in a season and highest single-season field goal percentage. At 30 years old, Carlson has been the reliable weapon the Raiders could have counted on when they needed a big kick, though he has fallen off a bit just this season. Graham Gano had a really solid NFL career for 16 seasons, compiling 342 made field goals on 408 attempts for an 83% success rate. The 38-year-old has made 1 Pro Bowl in 2017 and has over 1,400 career points. But injuries have plagued Gano during recent years with the Giants. After signing a 3-year, $16.5 million extension in 2023, he's appeared in just 18 of 34 possible games. Currently, he's dealing with a herniated disc in his neck that has ruled him out for Sunday's game against Chicago. The Giants have elevated Younghoe Koo, who we'll be getting to later from the practice squad, to handle kicking duties. To round out this crew, we have Mason Crosby. Mason Crosby announced his retirement in February 2025 after an incredible 17-season NFL career, ending as the Green Bay Packers' all-time leading scorer with over 1,918 points. Drafted in the 6th round out of Colorado in 2007, Crosby became the face of consistency in Green Bay. He made 400 of 492 career field goal attempts for an impressive 81% success rate. Crosby appeared in a franchise record 258 games with the Packers, 3 more than Brett Favre. He won a Super Bowl ring and was part of 9 NFC North Division titles. After the Packers moved on in 2023, he played briefly for the Giants before retiring as a Packers legend. These guys were solid, typically for around a decade, maybe even more. Next up, we get to some elite kickers.
Level 4, elite.
These guys are some top-level stuff. First up, we have Younghoe Koo. Younghoe Koo was absolutely elite during his peak years with the Atlanta Falcons. After a rough start with the Chargers in 2017, Koo found his groove in Atlanta and became one of the most reliable kickers in the NFL. His 2020 season was absolutely legendary. Koo made the Pro Bowl while going 37-39 on field goals for a 95% success rate. He was money from everywhere, including a perfect 8 from 8 from 50 yards plus. Over his 7 seasons in Atlanta, Koo compiled a solid 87% field goal percentage. Koo's accuracy declined in 2024 to 73.5%. And after missing a potential game-tying kick in Week 1 of 2025, the Falcons released him. The Giants quickly signed him when Graham Gano got injured, giving Koo another chance, and we'll see how he does. We have Matt Prater here as well. Matt Prater's had one of the most remarkable stories in recent NFL history. The 41-year-old veteran was literally coaching his son's youth football team when Buffalo Bills called him with an emergency opportunity in September of 2025. With the game on the line, Prater nailed the walk-off 32-yard field goal to completely stun the Ravens 41-40. At 41 years old, Prater became the oldest player to ever suit up for the Buffalo Bills in a regular season game. His teammates joked about his age, but respected his clutch performance. But before he was with the Bills, Matt Prater held the NFL record for longest field goal at 64 yards before Justin Tucker broke it in 2022. He set that in Denver in 2013 against Tennessee. Over his 19-year career, he's made 84% of his kicks, he's a 2-time Pro Bowler and won a Super Bowl with Denver, and established himself as one of the most reliable long-range kickers in NFL history. Cameron Dicker has been absolutely elite since joining the Los Angeles Chargers. Known as Dicker the Kicker, he currently holds the best career field goal percentage at 94%. What makes Dicker truly special is the perfection from close range. He has never missed a single field goal under 40 yards in his entire NFL career. He had a 17-game streak of consecutive makes. At 25 years old, Dicker is redefining what accuracy looks like in the modern NFL. And the same went for Harrison Butker before the past 2 seasons. Harrison Butker has had a rough 2025 season that's put his elite status kinda in question. Through the first 5 games, he really struggled badly, missing 2 extra points, 3 field goals, including a costly 40-yarder. Despite the struggles, Butker's 3 Super Bowl rings and clutch playoff performances still put him in elite company. The question is whether he can bounce back. Someone who absolutely has bounced back is Jake Elliott, who's one of the most clutch kickers in NFL recent history. The Eagles signed him off of Cincinnati's practice squad in 2017 after Caleb Sturgis got injured, and he immediately made history with a 61-yard walk-off field goal against the Giants in his first game. Elliott's playoff resume is what sets him apart. He was great in both Eagles Super Bowl runs, making all of his kicks, including crucial field goals in the championship games. He owns the Eagles' record for longest postseason field goal at 53 yards against Atlanta in 2018. In 2023, Elliott had a record-breaking season, making 30 of 32 field goals for a 94% success rate, setting the Eagles' single-season record for field goal percentage. The Eagles rewarded him with a 4-year contract extension through 2028. Lastly, we have Sebastian Janikowski. Seabass is one of the few high overall kicker draft picks who actually worked out. Janikowski was one of the most powerful kickers in NFL history. The Raiders shocked the world by taking him 17th overall in the 2000 draft, the first kicker selected in the first round since 1979. Despite his early struggles as a rookie, Janikowski developed into a legendary weapon. His massive leg strength was unmatched. He tied the NFL record with a 63-yard field goal in 2011 and once attempted a 76-yard kick. Janikowski played 18 seasons, he was a Pro Bowler in 2011 and became the Raiders' all-time leading scorer with 1,799 points. What made Seabass special was his range and clutch gene, and because of all of that, even though the last time he played was in 2018, he's still the highest paid kicker in NFL history at $53,028 in career earnings. These guys were incredible. I just think their next crew is slightly better than them.
Level 5, even more elite.
These guys were just as elite as the other crew, but I think these guys actually have a long shot for the Hall of Fame. First, we gotta mention Jason Elam. Jason Elam was Denver's greatest kicker and one of the most clutch performers in NFL history. Drafted in the 3rd round from Hawaii in 1993, Elam became the backbones of Broncos championship runs in the late 90s. Elam was perfect during Denver's playoff runs to both Super Bowl victories. He made all his field goal attempts and extra points in 97 and 98, including a crucial 51-yard field goal against Green Bay in that Super Bowl. In 1998, Elam tied the NFL record with a 63-yard field goal on Monday Night Football. He finished his career with 436 made field goals, 3-time Pro Bowler, and 2-time first-team All-Pro. Elam was inducted into the Broncos Ring of Fame in 2016. Next, we have one of the most underrated kickers of all time in Jason Hanson. Jason Hanson was the definition of longevity and consistency during his legendary 21-year career with the Detroit Lions. Drafted in the second round in 1992 from Washington State, Hansen became the franchise all-time leading scorer with 2,150 points. He made 495 career field goals at an 82.5% clip. He holds the NFL record for most games played with one team at 327, becoming the first player in NFL history to play 300 games with one franchise. What made Hansen special was his reliability in crucial moments. He was a two-time Pro Bowler and made a second-team All-Pro in 1997. His career-long 56-yard field goal came in 1995, and he remained accurate well into his 40s. When Hansen retired in 2012, at age 42, he held NFL records for most 40 and 50-yard field goals made. He was inducted into the Lions Pride of Lions Ring of Honor and named to their all-time team in 2019. Someone else who's getting there quickly is Brandon Aubrey. In 3 seasons, he's already rewriting the record books with his incredible leg strength and accuracy. Aubrey's the first player in NFL history to make 5 field goals from 60-plus yards, including a 64-yarder that forced OT against the Giants in Week 2 of 2025. His 61-plus yard bomb against Washington was his second 60-plus yarder this season alone. The Cowboys kicker is currently 17 of 18 on field goals in 2025 and has been money from long range throughout his career. He made first-team All-Pro in 2023 as a rookie and followed it up with a Pro Bowl selection in 2024. At age 30, Aubrey is a legitimate weapon who can absolutely score from anywhere on the field, making him a cornerstone of Dallas' special teams unit. Mark Mosley holds the most unique distinction in NFL history. He's the only kicker to ever win an MVP award, and taking home the honor in 1982 during the strike-shortened season. Playing for the Washington Redskins at the time, Mosley went 20 of 21 on field goals that year for a remarkable 95% success rate. He was named first-team All-Pro and made the Pro Bowl while helping lead Washington to a Super Bowl championship. Over his 16-year career, Mosley only made 65.5% of his kicks. He was a straight-on kicker in an era transitioning into more of a soccer style, which made his accuracy even more impressive for that time. He spent 13 of 16 seasons with Washington, becoming the franchise all-time leading scorer at the time of his retirement. Lastly, we have Stephen Gostkowski. He was a clutch kicker for the greatest dynasty in NFL history. Drafted by the Patriots in the 4th round of 2006, Gostkowski became Tom Brady and Bill Belichick's most trusted weapon for over a decade. Gostkowski is the Patriots' all-time leading scorer with 1,775 points, making those field goals at an 87% clip during his 14 seasons in New England. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler and 2-time first-team All-Pro who won 3 Super Bowl rings, often delivering in the biggest moments. After a hip injury ended his Patriots tenure in 2019, Gostkowski played one final season with Tennessee in 2020 before retiring. This group was absolutely elite, but I think they're just outside of Hall of Fame territory. Next up, I think these guys are Hall of Fame caliber if they're not in already.
Level 6, Hall of Fame.
We're starting with one of the most unique players ever in George Blanda. George Blanda had the longest career in NFL history, playing an incredible 26 seasons from 1949 to 1975. What made him truly unique was his dual role as both quarterback and kicker throughout his career. Blanda started with the Chicago Bears in 1949 before establishing himself as one of the top players in the AFL with the Houston Oilers. He was absolutely elite for his time. Blanda made over 156 all-time field goals. His 863 points are second all-time in Raiders history, only behind Sebastian Janikowski. Blanda was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1981 and was a member of the 1967 AFL Championship team that lost to the Green Bay Packers in Super Bowl II. His longevity and versatility made him one of the most remarkable players in NFL history. Next up is Gary Anderson. Now, he's not in, but he probably should be. Gary Anderson was one of the most accomplished kickers in NFL history, playing an incredible 23 seasons from 1982 to 2004. He made over 538 field goals at an 80% clip over that time period. Anderson was a 4-time Pro Bowler and made first-team All-Pro in 1998 when he had his legendarily perfect season with Minnesota. That year, he went 35 of 35 on field goals and 59 of 59 on extra points, the first kicker in NFL history to have a perfect regular season. But Anderson is tragically remembered for one miss. In the 1998 NFC Championship game against Atlanta, with the Vikings leading 27-20 and 2:11 left, Anderson missed a 38-yard field goal that would have sealed their Super Bowl berth. The Falcons rallied to win in OT, ending what many consider the greatest team in Vikings history. His longevity and consistency make him a Hall of Fame caliber kicker, in my opinion. Jan Stenerud was the first pure kicker inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, earning enshrinement in 1991. The Norwegian-born kicker played 19 seasons from 1967 to 1985. What made him so special was his pioneering role in legitimizing the kicking position. Even though he only hit 67% of his kicks, he was a 6-time Pro Bowler and 1-time first-team All-Pro who won a Super Bowl with Kansas City. Next up, we have one of the best nicknames of all time. Lou Groza was the Toe, the first specialist kicker who became so proficient that the Browns started thinking field goals instead of touchdowns when time was running short. Groza was named first or second team All-League 8 times as an offensive tackle. He was a Sporting News NFL Player of the Year in 1954 and made 9 total Pro Bowls. As a kicker, Groza tallied over 1,608 points and ranked as the all-time leading scorer for many years. His most dramatic kick came in the 1950 NFL Championship, a 16-yard field goal in the final seconds that gave Cleveland a 30-28 victory over Los Angeles. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1974 and is an absolute legend. Lastly, we have Morten Andersen. Morten Andersen was the most prolific scorer in NFL history when he retired. The Great Dane played an incredible 25 seasons from 1982 to 2007. He made 565 kicks at an 80% clip over that time period. He was a 7-time Pro Bowler and 3-time first-team All-Pro who was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2017. Andersen's longevity was remarkable. He played 382 games over his career, appearing in games at even age 47. He played for 5 different teams, but was most associated with New Orleans and Atlanta. Andersen was named to both the NFL's all 1980s and 1990s teams, cementing his status as one of the greatest kickers of all time. These were some of the greatest kickers to ever do it, just not the best, and that's in our final level.
Level 6, the greatest.
I think there's only 2 here, Justin Tucker and Adam Vinetari. Adam Vinetari is the most clutch kicker in NFL history. Automatic Adam played 24 seasons, making 599 kicks at an 84% clip. He became the all-time leading NFL scorer at 2,673 points. But his stats don't tell the full story, it's the moments. The 45-yard field goal against Oakland in 2001, the 48-yard field goal Super Bowl winner against the Rams, another Super Bowl winner against Carolina 2 years later. Vinetari won 4 Super Bowl rings and was a 3-time Pro Bowler and 3-time first-team All-Pro. He holds NFL records for most career field goals made, most overtime field goals, and most consecutive makes. Despite being snubbed in the 2025 NFL Hall of Fame class for whatever reason, Vinetari absolutely deserves to be in for 2026. When the pressure was the highest, Vinetari was automatic. And the same goes for Justin Tucker, the greatest kicker of all time. Now I know off the field has been bad, to say the least, for Justin Tucker recently, but even with all of that, he's still the greatest kicker of all time. Justin Tucker is the most accurate kicker in NFL history. Over 13 seasons with Baltimore, he made 417 of 467 field goals at an incredible 89% success rate. Tucker held the NFL record for longest field goal at 66 yards, up until it was broken earlier this year like I had mentioned previously. It was against the Detroit Lions. The kick bounced off the crossbar and over, giving Baltimore a dramatic 19-17 victory. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler, 5-time first-team All-Pro, and Super Bowl champion. Tucker was named to the NFL's All-2010s team and is widely considered a lock for the Hall of Fame, up until the off-the-field stuff. He's the greatest kicker of all time, and I still think he gets in. And so there you have it, the 7 levels of NFL kickers. Subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.